4 or 5 different stocks that you like, stuff that you probably use every day. If people know they can come to your OnlyFans and learn how to produce a track, they're gonna subscribe. Do this for years. This is long term. Hey, what's going on, everybody? I want to discuss critical thinking. I have been talking to some people probably for the last couple of months, just on and off, wondering like, can I teach people critical thinking? Of course, some people were saying yes, some people were saying no, because that's a tough one, right? Because critical thinking, you can be book smart. I've met people that was in school that was smart. Like you ask them any kind of questions or whatever about school, they're smart. But then you will see them do something that seems kind of like crazy, like unnecessary or whatever. You thinking like, so I've heard the phrase of smart dumb person, right? And I think because you can be a smart person and not be a critical thinker. So I was wondering, can critical thinking be taught? I'm not really sure of that. I don't necessarily think it can be taught, but there are some things you can put in place because even learned behavior, that's to try to teach some person to unlearn all the bad behavior that they've been doing or bad thought process. That's tough because if you're 30 or 40 years old, even if you're 18, this is behavior that's been learned over the course of time of 18 years or 20 years or 30 years. And then you try to teach a person to unlearn that. That's tough. Trying to unlearn something that they believe is the right way or they believe is true. Even if they want to unlearn, even if they say, okay, I get it, the things I've been saying or the things I've learned is not true. And what can we do about it, right? They're going to still be making mistakes along the way to correct themselves because they're used to doing things a different type of way. So to answer that, no, I don't think you can really teach critical thinking. Either you're a critical thinker or you're not. And this is why even in politics or even in school or whatever it's easy to turn people against each other because everyone is not a critical thinker. If you say something enough times, and enough people hear it, it can be believable. It can be the truth. You know, it is the truth. And not only that, a critical thinker has to understand that even if it's something they disagree with, that can still be the truth. Like you can literally learn something from your enemies. Like some people, if they don't like you or whatever, they won't listen to nothing you can say. I'm the type of critical thinker. If I don't like you, I don't deal with you on a personal level. But that don't mean I have to tell myself that you're always wrong. You know what I mean? So, like what I mean by two people can be right, and that doesn't mean you have to agree with their message. If I laid a 6, if I laid it right in front of this camera, and well, you can do it. Write a 6 in front of you, right? And then another person stood on the other side of the 6. Y'all looking at the same number, but y'all seeing things from a different perspective, right? And what I mean by that is you're looking at your 6, and the other person on the other side of you is going to say, that's a 9. That's not a 6. It's a 9. And for you to both to argue whether it's a 6 or 9 would seem so crazy to a critical thinker. Because a critical thinker would be like, they're both right. They're just seeing things from a different perspective. But the person on the other side of the 9 going to think you're forever crazy. Like, he don't know what a number 9 is. He's calling it a 6. And the person on the other side looking at the 6 like, this guy has lost his mind. Like, this is clearly a 6 and he's calling it a 9. So it's like, that's when you have to really be critical. You have to look at things from both sides. I've always looked at things from both sides. I never react just from what I know. Because that doesn't mean, I can know I'm 100% right. But that doesn't mean the other person isn't right also. That's just level-minded thinking. And it's critical thinking. I've been in relationships where we're arguing about the same thing, which is, are we having a debate or a conversation? We're saying the same thing, but we're saying it differently. And I'm like, why are we having a disagreement and we're saying the same thing? Like, that'd be like arguing about religion. I don't care if you're worshiping Mary, Jesus, or God. I mean, we all have our different beliefs. When it all come down to it, all these people technically believe in God, right? And they all have their different reasons why they pick different people in the Bible to like the most, or to view as however they feel. But technically, it doesn't even make a difference. Like, because they all feel some type of way, but they all believe in God. Even if a person believes in the devil, they would literally have to believe in God if they believe the stories about devil used to be an angel and all this other stuff. They would literally have to believe in God. Like, but you'll have all these religions saying my religion is the right religion. Your religion is false because of this and because of that. I don't like to get into that. I critical think. I look what the meat on the bone. I need to know, what are we talking about? Because if we get lost into different angles and different reasons why we think, then all of us will always be wrong and right at the same time, but still arguing. Right. So on the critical thinking thing, I know I can get sidetracked because I can think of a whole bunch of things and examples or whatever. So I'm gonna try to stay on track for you, right? We're talking about critical thinking, right? And since I don't really believe you can teach critical thinking, but I do believe you can give people formulas, like, that can help them in life. This is if they really want to change, because at some point it'll morph into critical thinking. Like not, if I do that, that's gonna do this. It's gonna mess me up. And so I don't think that's a good idea to do. Like little small things in life that I used to just, because for one, like if I don't know the answer, I'm gonna tell you I don't know the answer. And I know a lot of us, we don't like to be wrong, so we'll say what we think it is, which is okay. If you're telling the person, I really don't know, but this is what I believe. Because now you're telling the person that you're not really sure, but this is my thoughts on it. So you're not leading them the wrong way. I don't like to say I know something. I don't even like to it bothers me when someone will argue back and forth with neither one of them. They're just telling their thought process and what they believe. They're not even telling what they know for facts. You know, this is why political and religion, they say, hey, leave it alone. Because they both can be right, to be honest. But say I said, if I don't know, I tell you I don't know. Now, in business, it's a little different. This is one of my formulas. In business, it's a bit different. And it depends on how I react to it, depending on how they ask the question. If they ask the question in email, I won't tell them that I don't know. I'll go look it up and see if I understand enough to help them, right? Even if I understand it and I say, I don't think I can help them that well, that good, I'll reach out to someone that I feel that knows this answer or knows how to help this person. I'll tell them, hey, is it okay if I send you someone that's looking for a certain situation, and will you be able to help them? See, I ask them first, the person I think that can help them, because then they'll say yes or nay. If they say yeah, Now I can email back, hey, uh, I'm not really the person to go to in this situation, but I can refer you to someone, and this is their name, this is their email, this is their phone number, this is how you get in touch with them. Now, when you're doing business, they will respect that, because they'll be like, because they'll still feel like you helped them. You actually did. They'll still feel like you helped them. Okay, he didn't know this, but this he directed me to someone that could help me. But it just hitting with a person's like, I don't know. In business, that's not good at all. It's not good in no situation, really. But I always let you know I'm really not sure, but I'll try to direct them somewhere that I feel that they can get the help that they're looking for. People will respect you for that in business and life. So I never just try to tell a person the answer that I think could be a good answer. If I don't know, I don't know. And by the way, here's where I would look, and here's who I would contact, and they can help you, right? Um, Even if it's like, and another thing, how I handle situations. People are not always gonna like how you react to things or whatever, right? Like, if it's family or friends and they're arguing, I don't take sides. People will say, "Are you supposed to be cool with me?" Or "You my first cousin?" Or "We brothers and sisters?" And you're, I'm not taking sides because it's family. Now, I'll try to say, "Hey, I need to knock this out. Um, work together. Let's figure out something." I'll do something like that, like try to see if we can, like, what are y'all arguing over? Why this doesn't make any sense? Or did y'all talk about it? Is it a misunderstanding? I'll do some stuff like that, but I ain't not gonna be like, oh nah, I'm taking sides, whatever. And if I think you're wrong, say if I think the other person wrong, the family or friend, I'm not gonna confront them in front of people because it makes it look like I'm taking sides. I'll probably go talk to them by themselves, me and that person, like, hey, look, it do seem like you wrong. I don't want to take sides or whatever, but this is not right. But I'm not gonna do it publicly on the internet. I'm not gonna do it in front of the other person that they're getting into, arguments with, because it'll make it seem like I'm taking sides, and that's not good with family. Because at the end of the day, when everything calm down, even if they forgive each other, everybody forgive each other, they're still gonna be looking at you like, yeah, I see how you get down. Everybody didn't apologize and everything. I see how you get down. When it all hits the fan, I see how you switch sides. So I try not to even take sides with family and friends. And if I think one of them is wrong, I'll talk to them by myself or whatever, right? This is all part of critical thinking or whatever. This is like little stuff that I stick to. I don't care if a person tell me I have to take sides. Only way I'm taking sides if it's something real bad. Real bad. It gotta be real out of the ordinary. Like, somebody slapped my mama or something. It's nothing to think about. If I'm wrong for what I'm about to do, I take full responsibility. Um, Other things that I do, this is part of my critical thinking or whatever. If I'm on the bus and I'm going to work, I always leave 2 hours early. 2 hours early. I don't know what's going to happen with the bus. I don't know if the bus is going to get into an accident. I don't know if I'm at the bus stop and the bus driver is going to drive past me. I really just don't know what's going to happen, and I don't want to be in a situation where I'm late all the time and I get fired for attendance. I've been fired for attendance before years ago. And I told myself that's never going to happen again. It was because I was working so far out and I kept on having car problems. So that's a little different. And if I'm driving to work, I still try to leave like an hour and a half early because I don't know what's going to happen. I really just don't know what's going to happen. I'm always trying to be at work at least an hour early. Somebody be like, oh, that's too early. That's too... It might be. It might be too extreme, but this is the things that I have to do. Because it's gonna be some days you're gonna be late or whatever, for whatever reasons. you get into an accident, or it's an accident on the highway and everything is piled up. So you try to have a good record of being on time, so when something happens, your boss know this is not a problem. It's not even a reason to say nothing to him or her. So I keep practice of trying to be at work at least a couple hours early, if not an hour early. Or I try to be that, because if something's gonna happen, and I'm still gonna be an hour early. You know, I'm still gonna be early, no matter what happens. Um, um, Another thing, I never tell myself I can't do something. If it seems like it's hard or whatever, I say, I wonder. And it's things that I won't do unless I have to do, like work on a car. I'm not a mechanic, so I'm not gonna. But I do know if I really wanted to get down to it and I didn't have any money, I can turn on YouTube University. And if it was an alternator, I say, how do I fix an alternator for such and such car? And I'll look and I'll figure it out. But that's not what I want to do. But I do know if it really came down to it, I can do it. You know, mostly anything, most of us, we can do it. Right, right. That's all part of making ourselves believe in ourselves. I think it's all a part of critical thinking. Some people have mastered it. Some people haven't. If you know you're going through some hard stuff in life, critical thinking comes in. It plays a big part of whether you feel like you can survive it, or turn it into a positive situation. So, um, yes, I do know that knowledge can come from an enemy, somebody that I don't trust. I know that, so I listen. I always listen to both sides of the situation, because just because and you know, and something bad can come from people that you do trust. It's not that they try to give it to you in a bad way. I mean, it's happened, but they probably don't know themselves. And if you just only following them because you like they're my family, or it's my woman, or it's my dude, and I believe they won't lead me wrong, they won't steer you wrong purposely. Hopefully they wouldn't. Doesn't mean they won't steer you wrong. You know what I'm saying? So full circle back to the critical thinking. Once you just told yourself, say you keep on making mistakes in life, you keep on losing apartments, you keep on falling out with all kinds of friends, and once you realize, hey, I gotta change some stuff about myself, but what is it that I change? You look at your decision making. Usually it's the decision making. And if you can figure out how to reroute your decision making, it'll slowly start to turn into something else. To the point critical thinking come natural. It won't even, because you would think of everything before, like somebody, one of your friends, say you used to be in the streets and you used to rob people, whatever, and you keep on getting into it with the shootouts, or you get running in with the police, back and forth to jail, and you're like, man, I'm tired of this. I need to, what can I do to change? Like, you, and the first thing I tell people is you can't care what other people think when you know you're doing something positive. Because people will be like, you a sucker, you soft, like, come on, let's go hit this lick, let's do it. And you're like, man, I ain't on that, I'm good. Or if you used to be in the streets hustling and now you want to go get a job or whatever because you're just tired of living this life, it's just not going nowhere. And you're going to have people who ain't ready yet. So you can't care what another person think when you know you're trying to do something that you're passionate about. Like, go do it. Y'all can be my friends, or y'all can be somebody that I no longer want to know anymore. Like, it's up to them, right? So I'm hoping I'm making any kind of sense with the critical thinking thing, because I need people to be critical thinkers. I need them to change their thought process. Because there's been times when I'm talking to people and I'll be like, they not getting what I'm talking about. Like, what? And I say something crazy that I ain't supposed to say. Like, are they stupid or something? Is they dumb or what? I won't say it in front of them. I never call a person stupid or dumb in their face, because that itself could mess with them emotionally, mentally. And sometimes I might just not know what's going on with them. You know, they they may be lacking a learning disability, and it might not even be their fault. It could just be their parents' fault. People they grew up around didn't push them, didn't give them the information they need. Because it's still stuff that I'm learning. It's still stuff that I'm learning, and I believe that I'm not a dumb person, but I'm not the smartest person in the room all the time. I really like that because that means I can learn if I'm not the smartest person in the room all the time. So I've given you a few things that helped me along the way. If I don't veer from that, especially to not caring what other people think, if you know you're doing the right thing, because people will come to you and they complain like, man, like say you're talking positive. Hey, we need to do this, we need to do that, and somebody be like, well, who you been helping? What you doing? So I mentioned this before on a video before. Instead of saying that's some positive stuff, they'll try to back you in the corner like you shouldn't be saying it. They don't say it, but that's how I take it. You talking all this positive stuff, but look at all the stuff you used to do. You used to be in the streets. You used to do this. Keyword used to, right? Eventually, you have to learn. And if you know better, you start to do better. I feel like I know better now. I know better, so I'm trying to do better. I ain't gonna keep y'all. I just wanted to talk a little bit about critical thinking and hope everybody can change their thought process. Critical thinking takes a long time if that's not what you do, if that's not what you've been into, but you can start to guide yourself in another direction by just sitting down and even talking to yourself. Like, what is it that I want out of life? What is it that I want out of this year? You know, if you can't even think that far ahead. And you start doing the things. You start doing the things like, even if it's 5 things you know you got to do, you start with the first thing that can roll over to the next and roll and help that situation. Don't start to the hardest thing and then you ain't even got the groundwork done yet. So I hope I made a little sense to you guys with the critical thinking, and maybe I worded it wrong or whatever. But I'm hoping I'm making sense to you. And in order to become a critical thinker, you have to change your thought process, because it'll open doors for you to think differently than what you're already doing. Don't forget to go inside the description. On some people's device, if you're watching from a cell phone, you might not know what the description at. If I'm gonna have a little arrow, I think probably on your right hand side, you click on the arrow, it'll go into the description, and then I'm gonna have my merchandise store. It's gonna be a link. It's gonna be Teespring, Bright Media Montana's merchandise. You can click on that, or I may have Ganja Weed. I might have his link down in some of my descriptions, because he the one did my logo in my merchandise store. He did the I Eat Knowledge for Breakfast. He did that stuff. It's 2 different ones. You will see one, I Eat Knowledge for Breakfast, FOR, and you'll see one, I Eat Knowledge for Breakfast, and it had a number 4. Ganja did all that. He did all the colors. I still got colors and stuff I haven't even put on there. He usually do most of my graphics. I have other people that I can deal with if Ganja can't get to it or stuff like that. But the guy's pretty good. If you need logos, whatever, he'll take care of you. He did my logo, and he does shirts and stuff. He does. I mean, I'm gonna put his link. I'm gonna put his link in the descriptions. I do deal with him. He does other things. He shoots videos. He's pretty talented, but I think once you start following him, you'll understand. You will see what he does and what he doesn't do. He got the Deaf Side mixtapes. He does album covers. He does posters. He does business cards. I've been dealing with him for some years now, and sometimes we so busy talking about other stuff, we don't give people their flowers, or we don't help promote them. because even when I'm dealing with him on the business side, he doesn't always charge me high prices. Never really, but sometimes he gives me deals. He throws in extra stuff. Even my intro to these videos that I'm putting up now, he did my intro. So like he edits film and stuff too, shoots videos and all that. So you want to check out Ganja Weed. Um, once you start following one of his pages, you'll catch on to his other pages or whatever. He got the Deaf Side mixtapes I told you about. I'm gonna put a link into one of his the cartoon heads. That's when he has prices and stuff. But then he does also have where you can leave a message or whatever for further details or whatever. All right, y'all. I hope I got the message across with the critical thinking and everything. And just remember, I eat knowledge for breakfast.